The parable of the two builders, also known as the parable of the wise and foolish builders, is a well-known story from the New Testament of the Bible, specifically found in the Gospel of Matthew, Matthew 7 verses 24 to 27, and the Gospel of Luke, Luke 6 verses 47 to 49. It is part of the Sermon on the Mount delivered by Jesus. The parable. Therefore everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house, yet it did not fall, because it had its foundation on the rock. But everyone who hears these words of mine and does not put them into practice is like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house, and it fell with a great crash. Interpretation. 1. The wise builder. This person represents those who hear the teachings of Jesus and apply them to their lives. They build their lives on a solid foundation, which is the rock. This foundation symbolizes faith, obedience, and a commitment to following God's teachings. When trials and difficulties come, symbolized by the rain, floods, and winds, their faith remains steadfast because it is built on a strong foundation. 2. The foolish builder. This person represents those who hear the teachings but do not act on them. They build their lives on a weak foundation, which is the sand. This symbolizes a lack of commitment, faith, or adherence to God's teachings. When trials come, their lives collapse because they lack a strong foundation. Key lessons. The importance of action. It is not enough to simply hear or know the teachings, one must also act on them. The strength of faith. A life built on faith and obedience is resilient and can withstand the storms of life. The consequences of neglect. Ignoring or neglecting spiritual teachings can lead to a life that is vulnerable and easily toppled by challenges. Application. The parable encourages individuals to reflect on their own lives and consider whether they are building on a solid foundation. It serves as a reminder to integrate oneself with spiritual teachings and to live in accordance with those principles to ensure a strong and resilient life. This parable is often used in religious teachings to emphasize the importance of not only listening to spiritual guidance but also applying it in daily life.